Hey friends, it's Tracy. Welcome to my channel and welcome to another winter collection video. I am sharing all of these 5 DIY winter crafts with you. Now, I jam-pack quite a bit in my videos, so timestamps of pertinent information is in the description box below. Just click the small triangle or the show more. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, guys, let's do some country painting. Now, I have this board. I had it on hand. It measures 24 inches by 4 inches, and I'm just using some white acrylic paint. I'm going to give it 2 coats of this white paint. Then I'm going to do a border. What I like to do for some of my signs, I'm going to be using a blue border. I'm sorry, I'm not quite sure what the color name of it was, but very nice blue border that it looks more like a denim or like a colonial blue. So what I found that works for me is I go around the edges of the board, then I will go back inside and make my border. Now, I've been doing this for several years, so I kind of eyeball it. But when I first started, I always used a ruler or a T-square or something that helped me draw out the lines so that I could paint my border straight. Once my board is completely dry, then I'll go in with my additions. I'm using this paint by Americana called Antique White. Now, I have this checkerboard stencil that I've had for many years. Has been with me for a very long time because for years I've been doing signs, and I used this stencil. I think I saw something similar at Hobby Lobby, but there are a lot of ways that you can make checkerboard, and I just love this stencil so much. I bought it at Walmart a long time ago. This stencil may have been with me for like 20 years. I kid you not. And so I just love it. I just wash it out just with water. Now, once that is dry, then I'm going to do some more additions, and I just have a very thin, probably a number 2 liner brush, and I'm going to go around the edges just adding some white lines. Those yellow paint risers are something that I got from Hobby Lobby many years ago, and they just kind of give painted projects or any projects that you don't want the back to touch your surface, just lifts them up. Okay, so now I'm going to add some shading, and I use like a 1/2 inch flat paintbrush, some chocolate brown paint, and dip half of my brush in the paint, the other half in clean water, blend on a paper towel, and then I just go around the edges just to add some shading. So now I'm doing the same thing with some white paint, just going around the edges and just adding some white highlight. And then I'll go back again and add just some black, not giving it too much, just kind of hitting and missing just to bring out a lot of those colors, just to give it some more depth. So now my board is ready for lettering. I'm using a 1/4 inch flat paintbrush and just making my letters. This is some God-given talent. I owe all of my talents to the Lord because He is the one that has given me these, and also this platform to be able to share it with so many country-loving friends. Thank you so much to so many friends that love this style of lettering. Now, I do not, because I freehand it, all of my letters look a little different depending on what word I am lettering. So I have found, I will share a free font called defont.com. That link will be in the description box below if you want to download it to your computer, and then you can practice different styles of lettering with these happy dots. So then once I have Winter Blessings on there and that is dry, I'm just going back with a thin liner brush and just adding some of that blue paint just to give it some highlight. Okay, my next step is I take my black fine Sharpie marker, go around and just add some doodling. I feel that it just kind of gives my painted projects a border and also makes it pop. I will add some splattering. It is, kind of a signature for me. I love it so much on my projects. I just use a stiff brush and a stick. I dip my brush in paint and then I pull the stick toward my body across the bristles one time, and that projects the paint onto the board. And so I do black paint and then I go back and I do white paint. I seal once everything is dry. This is the sealer that I love the most. It is a liquid sealer, and that is what I use for my painted projects. So now let me share this large Winter Blessings wreath with so many fun deco mesh and ribbon colors. This wreath has lots of whites and denim and snowflakes. Okay, what I started with is this wreath form that I had in my stash. I got this like from Walmart after Christmas one year, and that is going to be the base of my wreath. I'm using this 21-inch Deco mesh from craftoutlet.com. And what I did is I just made like probably 10-inch poofs and I put them in all of the ties. And I have shared this on several other videos, but for this particular wreath, I just have it, just showing right here. I've already done that. Then I'll move on to the next layer. For my 10-inch mesh, I'm using some denim, some white, as well as some silver. And I already have these cut at 12 inches. I'm just taking the white and the blue, no, the white and the silver, and I am just making a ruffle. I just, fold it like that and then gather it in the middle so it makes like a bow tie or a ruffle. So I take the silver, I do the same thing, just gather it. I hold it in my hand. Now clips or clothespins, something like that helps with, if you can't hold things, in your hands. But okay, so this denim, I think I cut that at 10 inches. So the white and the silver was at 12 and then the denim is at 10. And I just made a curl like that and just put that on top. Now I'm putting these in like a zigzag pattern, like up, down, up, down, up, down, all the way around the wreath. This beautiful silver shimmery ribbon is going to be the next layer that I'm going to add to it. And so I just take the tinsel ties and just kind of gather it, tucking it in around the wreath all the way, around, just using those tinsel ties just to kind of twist it in there. And I'm not making, bows or anything right now. I just wanted to add some of this silver ribbon, just kind of like give it a poof around the wreath. for my ribbon, I have this like 6-inch denim snowflake ribbon that I had on hand. And I think that was an after Christmas find from Walmart as well. And the silver with the white is probably from, I don't know, it's something that I had in my stash. I'm also going to be adding some tubing, which is blue and white tubing. I like to add that. It just kind of adds, just some character and dimension to my wreaths. And so I just put the ribbon in the wreath just like that. I just use those tinsel ties just to make sure that everything is secure and so cute. And so then to add my sign, what I did is I just drilled some holes in it, and then I will just use some wire to attach to my just regular wire just to attach the sign to my wreath base. I like to use Aleene's Stiffen Quick for some ribbons that may be a little flimsy, and just spray it on just to, give it some thickness or some weight and form to the wreath. Next project is sharing how I created this cute little snowman. Making this little snowman shelf sitter using one of my leftover pumpkins from the Dollar Tree. Now this was from the fall season, and of course they have those pesky little stickers on there, and just using my little heat tool and just peeling off the sticker. I'm also using one of the socks from the Dollar Tree. I had bought those in the fall season as well, and just pulled it out so I could use it for his little hat. So I want to use the crackle paint technique on this little snowman shelf sitter as well. So I'm just painting it black. I let that dry. Then I put a layer of the crackle medium on there and let that completely dry, about 15-20 minutes. Then I go back over it with some plaster chalk paint, and it literally cracks before your eyes. And so one thing that I did notice, like where that sticker was on the back of the little wooden pumpkin, I guess where the little adhesive is, the crackle and the paint did not stick very well to that. So you will see that as I'm working with my little snowman. I want to give my little snowman some cheeks. I'm just using some coral colored paint and a stencil brush, and just stippling on some cheeks just to give him a cute little face. I just kind of dab it on just to get the look that I want. Then I'm going to get a liner brush and some orange paint and just draw on a nose where it just looks so cute. Milk chocolate brown paint, and I like to shade my projects, so I'm just using a flat paintbrush and dip half of my brush in water, the other half in paint, and then I blend it on a paper towel. Then I go around my projects to give it just some shading and just give it some definition. I'll just continue to bring this little snowman shelf sitter to life by adding some doodles around the outside of the little nose and just the outer part of the wood part. And then I'll also give him a little smile. And this is just something that I like to do for my projects. It just really depends on what your little personal preference is. But I think that it just really gives it all. It doesn't have to be perfect to be very cute. Anyway, before I do the eyes, I'm going to put the sock on there so that I don't get my eyes too high, so that the brim of my sock, which is this hat, would be covering them up. I use some stuffing to add some, fullness to my hat. And then I just glue that down. Once I know the placement, I like to put my socks on first, like I said, so that I can get my eyes placed the way that I want, that they're not too high, too low, that kind of thing. And so I will use a black Sharpie marker and just draw out the eyes the way that I want them. And I like my eyes a little slanted. If you don't want to do this, you can use the end of a paintbrush or a marker or a dowel, something to give you 2 dots. But I use the marker first, and then I go back in and I fill it in with black paint with my paintbrush. Now, this is just a personal preference, but you can do eyes a lot of different ways. And I just use my liner brush for some commas in the eyes, and then also my ultrafine Sharpie marker to give some eyelashes. Now I'm just taking some wire and some rusty jingle bells that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I'm just twisting that on the end of the hat so that it could make a little jingle. This is just kind of how I like to make my little snowman, just all cute and just festive. To get the hat to stay where I want it, I will figure out where I want it to bend, and then I will hot glue that so that it stays. For more pizzazz and festiveness, I just have some greenery and some berries, and I just cut off a couple of sprigs of greenery and just kind of trying to figure out where I can get the greenery to stick, as well as my berries. Sometimes I tuck it in the brim of the hat. Sometimes I hot glue it, to the hat. And just to, I'm cutting off the toe of that sock so that it kind of, lays a little bit freer where it's not, closed. Just depending on the sock will depend on what I kind of do with it. Sometimes I use my pinking shears and I'll make like the, strips. It just really depends on the sock. Anyway, just a cute little snowman shelf sitter. If you don't have any of those leftover pumpkins from the Dollar Tree, you can do this with a board or something else. Just let your imagination go wild and create you a cute little snowman shelf sitter just like this one. Next is this winter tree decoration. I love how these turned out so much, and they were pretty simple to put together. I used 2 of the Dollar Tree little styrofoam cones. This is what I wrapped around the cones, this chunky yarn from Walmart. And this is not a true white. It just kind of is a little off white. And I didn't use that much. There's a lot on this roll. So what I did is I just started at the bottom, hot glued it, and just wrapped it around. I found that it was a little bit easier if I turn the cone, and that way just kind of let the yarn kind of fall and wrap around, and just hot gluing it here and there until I got to the top. Once I got to a certain point, it had like a little knot in it. And I was like, okay, that's going to put a kink in my little plan. So I ended up cutting it and then cutting it off. And then I discovered that it looked like a little pom-pom. So I used it to my advantage. For the larger tree, I found this large cone at the Goodwill for 79 cents. And I'm going to do the same thing with wrapping the yarn and hot gluing it all the way around. The larger tree, since it was a little more space, I just took my yarn and I wrapped it in a knot 2 times. So I'm showing you here. I did 1 and then I wrapped it again and then kind of pulled that a little tight. And then I just cut it with my scissors and it fit perfectly on top of that tree. Pizzazz. I pulled out my twinkle flakes. Now I have had these twinkle flakes for many years and it only takes a little bit, so I'm sure I got it like at, you know, Hobby Lobby or something. Anyway, I just took my spray adhesive and I sprayed them a little bit and then I just sprinkled on some little twinkle flakes. For the stand, I just took 3 of these blocks that were from the Dollar Tree. The Dollar Tree usually has them in different seasons, and I just glued them together. I did the crackle paint technique. I will have it linked below, the crackle technique that I use, and that is all that I did for my trees. And so I just put them here on this stand, and they're not glued or anything like that. I also put some twinkle stars, or actually just some stars from the Dollar Tree, as well as 2 white trees. Nothing is glued down as far as like the decoration, so I can use them in any or other decoration for my winter decor. Next project is my Snowman wooden spoons little family. I'm calling them wooden spoons, but they're actually plastic spoons. You can get them in a 4-pack over at the Dollar Tree. Now, you'll see in the video here, I had done 2 sets, but I'm only using 1. I'm only using 3 in, you know, just this little project, but they actually come 4 spoons. So I'm doing 2 little sets here. Anyway, but now I have my little sanding block and I'm just sanding the part where I'm going to paint on, because I need to give it a little texture. Because these spoons are plastic, they're not porous, and the paint doesn't adhere to them very well. So I'm just using white Waverly chalk paint, and I am just giving it just 1 coat of paint, and then I will make some little cute faces. I like to give some little cheeks, and using some coral colored paint and a stencil brush, I'm just tapping off a little bit of the paint on a paper towel, and then I just stipple on the cheeks. And I prefer to go up and down, but you know, sometimes you see cheeks in a circle, but I just like more of the up and down look. And then now I'm just using this color of orange for his or for their little noses. And then I just have a number 2 little liner brush here, and I just kind of zigzag on a nose. I kind of start at the bottom, and then I just kind of go back and forth, just kind of getting a little smaller as I go up to give it a little carrot nose. Now I'm going to add some little eyes, and I just take my fine Sharpie marker and just draw 2 circles, filling them in with the black marker, and then I'll go back over it with my black paint and my small liner brush and just go over it just to give it the marker is just it's a little light, and so I like to use the black paint. I love my little projects to have cute little faces, and that includes some little eyelashes. So I just use my ultrafine Sharpie marker and just give them some little eyelashes. I usually do like 3 little eyelashes, and then I'm also just outlining the nose and just giving it a smile. Then I will add some little white to their eyes. And I just have a very loved brush that I have had many years. And I just like a lot of the bristles have fallen out and it's just very thin. And I just kind of go along the eyes and just position the little, I make like a little comma, and depending on where I put the comma in their eye will depend on which way it looks like they are looking. I'm using one of these glass salt and pepper shakers from the Dollar Tree. I just took off the lid, and I'm going to paint it in a crackling technique. And how I do that is I need to put an undercoat on there, and I'm going to put that in black. This is the crackle medium. I prefer to buy the actual crackle medium, but some friends have shared that they have got the crackle technique using Mod Podge as well as Elmer's school glue. I have not tried that because I just like to use the crackle medium. I will have a link in the description box below if you would like to get the details of that. And so then it only takes about 15-20 minutes for the crackle medium to completely dry. Then I go back over it with a layer of the plaster colored chalk paint. Then once my little jar is ready to go, I have just some of that little curly Chanel yarn that I used on the winter trees, and I just cut a strip of that, and then I'm gonna tie it on the mouth of the little salt or pepper shaker. Kind of going for a scarf technique, and I like the way that I just kind of like have it positioned. I'm going to fill my little jar about 3/4 of the way with some Epsom salt. And I have this little funnel I've had in my stash in my craft room from when I was doing card crafts and scrapbooking, and I was using glitter a lot. Anyway, so I thought that it would come in handy to put some of this Epsom salt in my little jar. I just cut off some sprigs of this greenery. I had it on hand. I think it came from Walmart, and just stuck it into the salt or pepper shaker for my little arrangement. And I just love the way that this turned out, and I hope that you do too.